right, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to class. How are you guys? I hope everybody is doing well. Excited to talk to you again, as always. So we're just going to jump right in. And what I'd like to do is get through the class. And then I know you guys are going to have questions. I just know you guys are going to have questions because this is one of the questions I get most often from my clients and from people who just are wanting to learn from me because so many people are starting a program or they're doing the right things, they think, right? And their blood sugars are still high. And it's very frustrating. It's confusing. So when somebody's working with me and this is happening, I make sure that I really explain why it's happening. Because if you're doing all the right things, right, and your blood sugars are still high, then you got to go off the checklist and you have to figure out which of these things are maybe you need to tighten up on. Now, those of you who are not clients of mine and you're having this issue, tonight's presentation is going to be really informative for you because it's going to help you understand that these things that I'm going to be teaching you, these are the first steps. You have to do these things first for any chance that you're going to lower your blood sugars. And the second thing is that your doctors are not giving you the right information, right? So your blood sugars are just going to always be out of balance if you're working with a doctor because doctors aren't trained in how to reverse diabetes. They're just not. Now, they're not bashing doctors. I'm just saying that it's like you're going to the wrong dog for the hunt. And what I mean by that is if you're going to your doctor for nutritional advice, and diabetes is a nutritional disease, it just is. If you have type 1 if you were born with type 1, that is genetic. Absolutely. But if you ended up being diagnosed with diabetes in age 20, 30, 40, 50, that is not genetic. That is a lifestyle, disease. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease. Pre-type 2 insulin resistance is a lifestyle disease. And that is, partly nutrition is a big part of it. But if you've gotten diabetes at age 30, 40, 50, 60, it didn't just happen like that overnight. It has been some things that you have been doing for many, many, many years. So my point is that when you go to a doctor, they're trained in med school how to look at your symptom. Diabetes is a symptom. High blood sugars is a symptom. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, all that is a symptom. They look at a symptom. And then what they do is they say, oh, you have that symptom. What medication can I put you on to alleviate the symptom or to, for a short-term period, remove the symptom or reduce the symptom. But in that process, as you're reducing or as you're, trying to remove the symptom, the medication isn't permanent solution. The medication will cause other symptoms to happen. And eventually your body gets immune to the medication. And this is why you guys have to go back to your doctors and you have to keep increasing the blood pressure medication, the insulin, the metformin, the statins, the thyroid medication, right? Because you weren't born to have medications be put in your body. I mean, our bodies aren't designed to have medications. Okay, so tonight we're really going to break it down for you guys. And I know it can be confusing and it can be frustrating. And here's what I want to also say. My clients who are dealing with this, one of the biggest things I have to coach them on is you have to be patient. You have to do these things I'm going to teach you, but you also have to give it time. Like you didn't get diabetes in a day. So if you've had diabetes 20, 30, 40 years and you want to reverse it or you want your blood sugars to get better, you've got to be doing these things I'm teaching for a long period of time. So those of you who are going to be hearing this for the first time, this is going to probably blow your mind. You're probably going to be like, what? Nobody ever teaches this stuff because it's never just one thing. And you guys hear me talk about that all the time too. It's like, if you're not, if you're not really up to speed on my teachings in this group, you're going to understand that it's never just one thing. And that's kind of my motto. It's like, I really want my women to understand that just because you had a cookie doesn't mean that's how you got diabetes. So we're going to break it down tonight for you. But we'll get into that. So, I've been doing this a long time, and I do have to make a disclaimer that, listen, I am not your doctor, so everything I teach you tonight has to be always, taken in, and you have to do your own due diligence and your research. If you're not a client of mine, then you have to for sure, go to your doctor with some of this information. But the problem with that is that when you go to your doctor and talk to them about holistic remedies, one, they don't know them because they in 8 years of med school they get 1 day of nutrition, if even that. So they don't know it. They're not educated in nutrition. I've been studying nutrition for over 25 years and I'm still learning. So you can't expect a doctor to know it in 1 day. It's just not going to happen. So they're not educated in nutrition. And so if they're not educated in nutrition, they're not going to tell you, they're not going to know how to help you. Okay. So if you go to your doctor about this stuff, that one, they're going to say, oh, it doesn't work because they don't know. And two, they want to push medications on you because that's all they know. So you might have the nicest doctor in the world, but they're a little biased when it comes to medications because they're from the school of drugs. That's what the medical doctors are learning. The pharmaceutical companies are funding the medical schools. So, when you're listening to this whole group and all of my teachings are all about giving you the opposing side, right? There's a time and a place for medicine. There's a time and a place for drugs. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you really do have to understand the holistic side because that's how our bodies are designed to operate. When they break down and we get disease, that's because of a long lifestyle of mistakes and things that we've been doing wrong. And some of us just don't even know what the wrong is. It's not your fault. And also, your doctors are giving you the wrong advice. So I always tell everybody, and you guys hear me talk about this a lot in this group, is the information I give you is always the opposing side from the allopathic or the medical side. And it's really good to understand the holistic side because if you understand the holistic side, you can start to apply some of these things and eventually you'll be able to hopefully heal your body, get off the medications. That's the goal. That's the goal. And if you come work with me, I will help you do that. It's the doctors will never be able to help you do that because they don't have the resources or the schooling to, and some don't have the belief. When I mean, some of you know my story. When I had cancer, I did not want to do chemo and radiation. And everybody, all the oncologists, all the doctors, like, oh, you better not mess around with that. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to practice what I preach, and I'm going to learn everything I can about how to heal this without chemo and radiation. And so, boy, when I went to the oncologist just to learn and to understand what their treatment would be, it frightened me. And they were really pushing the chemo and radiation. So I understand those of you who have diabetes. I understand 100%. Not only because I went through it with chemo and radiation and the oncologist, but also I work with clients that come to me and their doctors have shamed them. Their doctors have shamed them so much and blamed them for their situation, and they're not offering you any help. And I hear this all the time, and clients come to me and they're already on 10, 15 medications, and they're just getting worse and worse, and they still just can't believe that their doctors don't know this. They just can't believe it. I get it. But you got to remember, you're better off to really learn as much as you can about the holistic side, start applying some of these things because that's the only way to heal your body. And then eventually, your doctor, will be able to help start you titrate you off your medications, but they'll never agree with you or they'll never believe it, because they don't see that. They don't see it. I was just talking to one of my clients today, and she's asking me, she goes, I just don't understand why I go to my doctor and they tell me it will never work, or they tell me that it's never going to get better. I said, this is why. Is because they have been treating you and people, right? They've been treating people, and the people they treat keep coming back because they don't get better because they're under their treatment. So they don't get better. So the doctors never see you guys get better. So when my clients go to the doctor and they're getting better, the doctor's like, wow, what's happening? What are you doing? That's amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Because they don't see it under their tutelage, under their guidance, under their pharmaceutical, protocols. They don't see their patients getting better. This is why they don't think you can get better because they don't see it because they're not, you know what I'm saying? So when my clients go to their doctors and their A1Cs are down and they're off, 10, 15 medications and they're feeling better and all their stats are better, their blood pressure and their blood sugars and they're off the medications and they're losing weight and they're losing inches and they're feeling better and they're off their statins. I mean, the doctors are like, the good ones are like, wow, keep doing what you're doing. And I think every medical doctor should be referring people to people like me who actually know how to help women reverse their diabetes, lose weight the right way. If you go into a doctor and the first thing they want to do is pump you with meds, then you're sorry to say, but you're on your way to a long-term relationship with medication. And if that's what you want, I mean, that's your option, that's your choice. But if you want to keep up in the medication, use your medical doctor. Okay. So tonight we're going to really kind of dig deep on the blood sugar issue because again, so many people come to me and they're like, Terry, I've listened to your videos. I've been in this group for a while. I've listened to your videos and I'm not eating sugar. Why are my blood sugars so high? That's just one piece of the puzzle. So I'm going to go through a lot of different scenarios with you tonight, and hopefully some of this will resonate with you and you'll learn a lot. But it's not just because you had a donut or just because you had one bad meal, your blood sugars are staying high, 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 high all the time. There's many different reasons. And so we're going to go over them. The first one I want to talk about is hidden sugars. A lot of people don't even understand what hidden sugars are. So when you have processed foods, when you don't read labels, you are seeing these processed ingredients in your food, and these hidden sugars are causing your blood sugar to spike up. Now, your diabetes educator is going to tell you, oh, but you know what? Honey, it's okay in moderation. In fact, in the ADA, the American Diabetes Association handbook or recipe book, they have Dunkin' Donuts in there saying that moderation is okay. Listen, your bodies don't know moderation. Okay. They just don't. You keep putting the crap in, your body doesn't know how to process that. Okay. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious the blatant, donuts and cookies and all that. You do that too much, your body's going to break down. But it's the hidden sugars that could be causing these sugars to stay high. So all of these are ones that you want to, be aware of. Now, I'm not talking about stevia or xylitol. I'm not talking about some of the healthy artificial sweeteners. I'm talking about the hidden sugars. So this is the list there. And you see these everywhere. And high fructose corn syrup is in everything. If there's one thing you guys need to look at your labels for is high fructose corn syrup. That is a devastating ingredient that is causing insulin resistance to get worse, causing your cells to be damaged, and is doing a lot more damage than what you think. I always say if it's something you can't pronounce, for one thing, anything on this list, if you want to take a screenshot of that, I would. And then if you're going to the grocery store and pull up this list and any of these are on your products, you know that it's hidden sugars. And that's one reason why your blood sugars might be staying high. So again, this isn't real food, you guys. Packaged foods, canned goods is not real food. They're full of hidden sugars and hidden ingredients. You've got to eat real food. Number 2 is the hidden toxins. So this is what I was saying about if you can't pronounce what's in your food, like cyclodextrin. What's this one? Diesel glucoside. What is that? What's microcrystalline? What's, all of these are toxic ingredients, and they're also called GMOs. So GMOs are genetically modified organisms, and all of these specific ingredients are coming from corn. Again, when we're reading labels, if you're putting this junk into your body, it's disrupting your body's normal process, including your blood sugar regulation. So when you put these foreign chemicals and toxins into your body, it's disrupting how your body processes sugar. Some other symptoms you will get from eating too many GMOs and toxins are digestive issues, skin problems, you'll have fatigue. And, so the natural fix is to make sure that you're eating high quality food. You either feeding disease or you're feeding health. That's how I look at it, you guys. And I know I have show this graphic every presentation I do because I really want you to understand this concept. Okay. I really want you to understand this concept. Here's how I want you to think about everything you put in your body because your diabetes educators and your doctors are going to think, oh, everything in moderation. Okay, that's what their philosophy is. Well, everything in moderation is what's gotten you sick, is what's gotten you, you know, diabetes. So here's what I want you to really remember. You're either feeding disease or you're feeding health. So every time you put in a food in your mouth, if it's ingredients your body doesn't recognize. So if you're putting in hamburgers and hot dogs and all those preservatives and you're putting that in, your body is very smart and your body has to figure out what to do with those chemicals. You to it doesn't want your body to digest them and put them into your bloodstream and put them into your tissues because they're toxic. So what your body does is it tries to hide it from the blood, tries to hide it from the tissue. So it stores it in the fat cells. And then as you keep doing that with the rancid seed oils and all that, you're damaging the outer layer of all your healthy cells. So when you're putting that crap in, you're always doing damage. Now, how long it takes for one person to get disease versus another, that is based on how often you're doing it, how long you're doing it, and partly genetics, right? Some people you ever hear, see those people that can eat like crazy and never gain weight or eat like crazy and never get sick? Well, it's going to catch up with them eventually. It just depends on how long. Okay. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's not if they will get sick. It's just a matter of when. Now, when you feed your health, you're putting in vegetables and high quality proteins and high quality fats. Your body knows what to do with those ingredients. When you eat a big salad and you're eating vegetables and good quality protein, the amino acids from the protein, your body knows what to do with it. Your body doesn't look at that as a toxin. When you're putting in phytonutrients from the greens and the vegetables and you're putting in all the different colors, that's phytomedicine, phytonutrients, phytomedicine. So your body knows exactly what it needs to do with that because it recognizes that as healthy. Okay, so I want you to really start thinking about that. It's almost like when you're putting in the bad foods, it's almost like you're putting in toxic medication because medications are toxins too. Medications will short term fix something, but your goal never is to want to be on a medication long term. I mean, there's some exceptions like, thank God for, certain medications, but I'm talking in general. If you weren't on medications until you were the age 30 and all of a sudden you're on 20 medications, I mean, obviously there's something wrong there. I want you to start visualizing every time you put something in, are you feeding your health or are you feeding disease? It's just a really good way to look at it. Okay, number 3, insulin resistance. I've talked a lot about this. In fact, I've even done a whole entire class on this. This is a whole entire class by itself. But when your body becomes insulin resistant, it cannot effectively use glucose from your blood. The more insulin you have in your blood, the more insulin resistant you get. So those of you who are injecting insulin, you're just making your cells more insulin resistant. And what happens is when you get sugar, in the blood, your body's smart and your pancreas releases insulin to try to grab onto that sugar and push it into the cell. But when you become insulin resistant, your cells don't hear the insulin anymore. So you end up not being able to produce the insulin. Now, there's something in our body called gluconeogenesis, and that is sugar, glucose meaning sugar, neo meaning new, and genesis meaning making. Okay, so the liver is always making new glucose from protein, ketones, or fat. So sometimes if you're not eating anything, your body's making it because it's without coming from food or diet. So this is another reason why some people are like, why in the world I'm not eating anything, and why is my body still producing sugar? This is another reason, because the body is smart. Again, when you don't eat for a period of time, your body needs some sort of fuel. So it's creating sugar from protein, ketones, and fat. And that's a mechanism that's happening in the liver. So when you have high quantities of insulin in your body, and there's only 2 ways you can get insulin. One is you inject it, or 2, your body's making it. And you don't want your body to make a lot of it because it's very inflammatory. So if you're eating the right foods and you're on a really good nutrition plan, your body will not produce so much insulin. And that's what you have to do because the more insulin you're pumping in, the more insulin resistant you're getting. That's just how it works. So the more insulin you have in your body, it's very inflammatory. It stores fat. When you have insulin in your body, it shuts down your fat burning and it blocks that gluconeogenesis. Okay. So this is why so many people who are overweight, you end up storing the fat and the insulin into the fat cell. That also releases some very inflammatory cytokines. And these are free radicals. And that also is causing insulin resistance. So as you can see, the body is very complex. However, we do know this is that you want to keep your insulin low. And how you do that is by your diet and by not putting chemicals in it and by not feeding disease and by doing some of the things I've been teaching you in this group. So if you're insulin resistant, it takes time. You have to really watch your nutrition. You have to intermittent fast. You have to supplement with potassium and magnesium. You have to exercise and you have to take some B1 and B12. But again, if you're going to keep eating like crap, then none of these are going to even work. Kind of have to do all these at the same time. The body does not need as many carbs as you guys think it does because your body can make it gluconeogenesis. So when your doctor is telling you you need to eat every 3 hours, you need to eat every 2 hours, he's just downright wrong. He's telling you that so that he can manage your medication with food. We want to manage your food and your body and your blood sugar with the food, not the medication. So listen, your body does not need as many carbs as what you're thinking. Fat is also an energy source. So wouldn't you rather dig into your fat cells for energy and not depend on your blood sugar? This is why intermittent fasting is going to be a huge benefit to you in order to start helping heal the mitochondria of the cell so that you can help heal the insulin resistance. Now, one real quick thing I want to talk about, the dawn phenomenon, which is when you go to bed at night and you wake up and your blood sugars are high. If you have diabetes, everybody has a dawn phenomenon. And again, this is partly because you're insulin resistance. When you go to bed at night, you have natural hormones that wake you up in the morning. So you go to bed at night, you sleep, and then around 4 to 5 in the morning, naturally you have human growth hormone, adrenaline, and cortisol that get you up in the morning. And when those hormones raise in the morning, your blood sugar raises. And if you have insulin resistance, your blood sugar, when it goes up, it's not pushing it into the cell for energy. So it stays in the blood. And that's what the dawn phenomenon is. And that's why when you heal your insulin resistance, you no longer will have high blood sugars that stay chronically high in the morning. Pumping your body with medication isn't going to fix the dawn phenomenon. That's not how it works. So we just want to make sure you're kind of clear on that. Number 4, stress. Stress hormones can cause blood sugar levels to rise because when you're stressed out, your cortisol raises, and then that raises your blood sugar, and then that raises your insulin. And again, like I said before, it blocks your fat burning hormones. So when you have high cortisol, you can guarantee that you're going to have high blood sugars. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones. In addition to cortisol, it releases adrenaline. These hormones can cause your liver to release the glucose in the bloodstream, raising those levels. Another symptom of stress will be headaches, anxiety, trouble sleeping, okay? Because stress keeps you in the sympathetic state. And there's different kinds of stressors. You know, sometimes people, when I say the word stress, sometimes people think, oh, it's just stress, I've had a bad day. Yeah, that's part of the stress, but you also have internal stress. Having diabetes is internally a stress on the body. Then you have physical stress. Let's say that you got, into a car accident and you need to have surgery and you're in chronic pain. That's physical stress on your body, and that can cause your cortisol to raise. And then you have chemical stresses. Chemical would be like toxic overload. It would be like having mold exposure or having mercury. So all these different kinds of stressors will also raise your cortisol, which keeps your blood sugar high. Anytime you have high cortisol, you have high blood sugar. So it doesn't matter if you're fasting. It doesn't matter if you're not eating. If your cortisol is high, you're going to have your blood sugars high. This is the autonomic nervous system diagram. And we do need to be in both. We need the sympathetic side and we need the parasympathetic side. So when you're in the sympathetic side, is when you're, in fight or flight mode. And that is when your body's stressed out and your organs kind of shut down because your body's trying to prepare you for a fight, prepare you to live, right? It's the innate intelligence of the body. It just knows when to go back and forth. And then you have the parasympathetic system, which is your rest and digest. So it's at night, it's when you're relaxing, it's when your body is calming down. In fact, when you eat food, you really need to be in a parasympathetic state to be able to have the best digestion. So, I always teach my clients to really try to make sure that they're relaxed when they're eating, because if you're eating when you're over here in the fight or flight mode, there's no digestive juices in your gut because all the energy and all the body systems are going to keep you alive using your brain and your eyes and the things that is trying to keep you alive. It doesn't necessarily think digestion is important when you're in a fight or flight mode. If you're in a car accident, your body's not saying, "Oh, let's help her digest her food." It's saying that, "No, how can we make sure that she's healing and keeping her alive before the paramedics get there?" You know what I'm saying? If you're getting chased by a bear, your body's not concerned about eating. It's concerned about making your legs go fast so that you can run and escape the bear, right? The different systems are very important to understand. Number 5, this is kind of obvious, but some people don't realize that if you're not sleeping, if you're sleep deprived, you will have high blood sugars. Poor sleep will affect your hormones that regulate your blood sugar. So not getting enough sleep will decrease insulin sensitivity and increase stress hormones, which both can lead to higher blood sugar levels. So that's what happens when you don't sleep. So get sleep. You guys know how to sleep. Shut your mind down at night. Get rid of the TV and the blue light and just try to wind down. Don't drink caffeine before bed. Just don't drink a lot of water before bed because so you have to get up and pee all the time. So just work on, really preparing yourself for bed. I've done a whole class in this group on how to maximize your sleep habits. So I would go in the search bar and look at that class because it's really good. Number 6, dehydration. Most people are like, really? Dehydration? Yeah. When you're not drinking enough water, what happens is it makes your glucose in your blood concentrate. So it thickens it up, which leads to high blood sugar. So some major symptoms of dehydration are high blood sugar is one, thirst, dry mouth, headache. If you have really dark urine, also that's another indication that you might be dehydrated. Number 7, this is something your doctors will never tell you, but medications will absolutely cause your blood sugars to be high. Now, you're probably asking me, well, what do you mean? I mean, my doctors put me on medications to lower my blood sugar. Let me explain. So your doctors are not telling you about all the other medications that are actually, remember I told you there's side effects for medications? There's always a side effect. And there's so many medications where the side effect is increased blood sugars. The other thing blood sugars do is block your nutrient absorption, which can cause weight gain. And if they block your nutrient absorption, that also can be a part of not being able to heal your insulin resistance. Because if you have insulin resistance, you need to be able to absorb nutrition. And if you're not absorbing nutrition, you're not be fueled and you're not going to feel very well. So many medications cause weight gain by increasing blood sugars and insulin. Certain medications are toxic and cause disruption in hormones and fat burning. So that's in addition to increasing your blood sugars. You want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day. But here's what I really want to show you. These are meds that actually raise blood sugars. So you can take a screenshot of this list. When you have diabetes, right? Look at the medications. If you look at this list, I can tell you're probably on a lot of these medications if you have diabetes, meaning beta blockers, statins, thiazides. You're probably on decongestants, steroids, all of these medications right here. Here's the category. Here's an example of what they would be. And here's what happens when you take them. So in a roundabout way, these are raising your blood sugar because let's take, for example, diuretic. If you have diabetes, you're probably on a diuretic. And the diuretic is decreasing your insulin sensitivity. So what happens if your blood sugar can't get into your cells? Your blood sugar is going to stay high. So this is what's so crazy is your doctor will put you on metformin and then put you on a diuretic. And they're both contraindicating each other because the metformin is maybe helping with a little bit of that process, but then the diuretic is causing your cells not to be able to be sensitive to insulin. So they're contraindicating each other. They're contradicting each other. So your body, listen, your bodies are designed not to have medications. That's all I got to say. So your goal, my goal if, to help you is to get you off these medications. But there is a process and there's a way to do that. You can't just go cold turkey off medications. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying there is a way and a process to be able to do that. But for the sake of this class, I just want you to know that these medications are a part of your problem. If you think you're doing everything right with your diet and you're reading labels and you're like doing everything right, right? And then you're like, uh-oh, but I'm on a statin or I'm on allergy medication or I'm on acne medication or thyroid hormones. Actually, levothyroxine can cause glucose production. And so a lot of people are on levothyroxine. And again, when you're on a thyroid medication, if you don't support the thyroid in other ways, your doctors keep increasing and keep increasing and keep increasing, and that can cause an increase in your blood sugar. So this is just important for you guys to understand. So part of your strategy to lower your blood sugar should be to take a look at the medications you're on and have conversations with your doctor about how to get you off medications. The only problem is your doctor is going to say you're never going to be able to be off medications. That's going to be his response to you. Oh, you're never going to be able to be off your statin. You're never going to be able to be off your metformin. So that's when you come and work with me, and I will prove your doctor wrong, and I will help you. Seriously, see this all the time. It's never just one thing. Now, I know I went through these pretty fast tonight, but I just wanted to get your brain kind of thinking about other things that could be happening, especially if you guys know you've been eating right and you've been really watching your sugars and think you've been reading labels. Well, maybe take a look at maybe you're being sleep deprived, or maybe you take a look at, what's my stress level like? Because it's never just one thing. As you see here tonight, it's not just because you're eating donuts, is that's why your blood sugar's high. Are you stressed? Are you working out? Are you eating right? Are you on a lot of medications? Are you nutrient deficient? And you probably are nutrient deficient, because if you're on a lot of medications, a lot of these are they interact and work together. You probably have inflammation, in your body, especially if we know if you're on medications, that's causing inflammation, right? If you're eating packaged food and you're eating a lot of fast food and restaurant food even, we know you're inflamed because the toxic seed oils that the restaurant prepares the food in, the seed oils, they're rancid and they're causing inflammation on the cellular level. I had a training today with one of my mentors. I have this other course called the cellular toxicity program that I'm doing, and we were having a training today, and he was explaining to us that he said that smoking actually, if you had a choice between smoking or eating seed oils, the rancid seed oils, the ones that are processed, he said the seed oils are more dangerous. Because listen, when you smoke, right? And it goes in, and if you quit smoking, you can heal that, right? But seed oils stay in your body for months, years, and they're very damaging to the body, all over the body. Smoking is just primarily the lungs, right? I'm not saying you should smoke. I'm just saying he was saying that, the eating rancid seed oils, like canola oil and, all the soybean oils and all the Wesson oils, all the oils that they're preparing your food in at restaurants and at fast foods, eating a lot of that all the time is really causing a breakdown on a cellular level. Okay, so there's a lot of different factors when it comes to your health, and it's never just one thing. This is why I show this graphic every single class also. So you have to heal your body first, meaning you have to start doing some of these things before you're going to allow your blood sugars to be able to come down. You can't expect your blood sugars to come down in one day. If you do one thing, or even a week, even a month, right? If you've had chronic inflammation, if you've been for years, if you have been on medication for a long time, your body takes time to heal. You've got to give it the right environment for many, many, many weeks. But here's what I do know. Is the body's so resilient. And what I've seen in my practice, what I've seen when women totally commit to changing these things, their bodies really do turn around for the and get healthy pretty quickly. But you have to be patient, you got to be consistent, and you have to know the right plan for you. And you've got to start getting off these medications. You got to start sleeping. You got to start reducing your your stress. You got to start, eating the right things. You got to start removing the toxins and the chemicals that are causing insulin resistance. You got to exercise. You got to drink your water so you're not dehydrated. All these things, you got to do all these simultaneously. If you can't just pick and choose, right? So you got to do all these things at the same time. And your body's so resilient. That's the good news. Is like, I know some of you are sitting here and you're like, but I've tried that and I've tried that and I've tried that and I'm not getting any results. It's because two reasons. One is because you haven't done the right things in the right order. And number two, you haven't done the right things in the right order for long enough. You can't do it for a month and then go off for 3 months. You can't do it for a week and then go off 2 weeks, and then get back on. It needs consistency. So if that is you, I want to talk to you. If that is you, I want to help you because I have a strategy. I have a plan. I have a program that is strategically designed to reverse your diabetes, reverse your insulin resistance, and help you. But you have to do it in the right order, and you have to be patient with yourself, and you've got to, this is not a quick fix thing at all. The doctors are the quick fix, and they don't even fix, right? The doctors are the quick fix, but they don't fix you. They maybe relieve a symptom for a couple weeks, but then you have another symptom that's happening, and then the symptom that you were on the medication for, you have to go back to the doctor because the symptom is back. I mean, tell me this isn't true. You go to your doctor and this is what they're in charge of: your prescriptions, your drugs management, your blood labs, and surgery and trauma care. Now, thank the Holy Lord, like seriously, thank the Holy Lord. We have doctors that know how to help you if you have an infection, if you need surgery, if you've been into an accident. Like, thank God, they're the best in the industry when it comes to trauma care and surgery. They're the best. But, the medical doctors that you go to for heartburn or diabetes, they're making you worse. They have no idea how to fix you. So I always say you want to strive to use your doctor for only the things you need them for, which is getting a diagnosis, and then if you ever need, surgery or trauma care, use them for that. But once you get your diagnosis, then come to me and let me help you, because I take what the doctors are telling you have, and then we customize a plan for you. And as you see tonight, it's not a simple process. I mean, everybody's very unique, and everybody's kind of different in your genetics, in what medications you've been on, what you've been doing as a lifestyle, your age, what's happened in the past with you. We have to customize your protocol. We've got to reduce your inflammation so that your body can absorb your nutrition. We've got to work on your mindset around this whole thing, because getting healthy, I'm telling you, I understand getting healthy requires a certain discipline, and it requires a certain structure that you have to understand and coach yourself to be able to know how to do that. Because most people, when they go on a diet, like Weight Watchers, they're using willpower, right? Willpower never lasts. And the difference is what I do is, at first, when you're doing a program like mine, it's going to feel like you're using willpower, but we're going to teach you how to be disciplined, because discipline leads to lifestyle, because willpower will never last. If you depend on willpower, this is why so many people will do Weight Watchers, and then they'll go off and they'll gain the weight back because they use willpower the whole time. Because diets work. Diets absolutely work. Diets work, but you don't want a diet. You want a lifestyle approach, so that it's something that you can do for the rest of your life. You want a program customized for you that you can do the rest of your life. And then you need to have somebody that can help you with your mindset so that you will be able to stay the course. And that's probably for a lot of women one of the biggest hurdles that they have. And then
So
just make sure, you guys, make sure you're on my mailing list. I'm going to show you a graphic here. Join my mailing list because every week what I've been doing is sending you guys out the video for the previous class so that you can watch it. In fact, if you can't ever find it in the Facebook group, then we've been able to send you a link on my YouTube channel and my blog that will allow you to see the previous class. So you can just click on that and also some other information in the newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for it, then make sure that you sign up for my newsletter. All right. And stay in touch. Keep active in the group. Make sure you let me know if there's anything you guys need. Tag me, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good night. Bye.